Hi, ASEAN partners. Today, we'd like to do a quick walkthrough of MDF or co-marketing activity submission process with you. Today, I would like to cover on what are the key partner marketing priorities, how does overall campaign submission and process look like for our partners, what are the MDF policy and guidelines that our partners should refer to, as well as the resources that are available for you. First, what are the key partner marketing priorities and therefore your MDF or co-marketing funds should be aligned to? First, should be aligned to identifying the net new opportunities or leads and nurturing to help your customers to get to ready to buy till the closure of deal or opportunity closure. And we can also then look into what are the next for our customers, such as upsell or cross-sell opportunities. Throughout the process, there are various resources available for you to help you execute your campaigns as well. But before that, there are a few points I want to highlight, which are mandatory for our partners to be eligible for our MDF. Partners first must have a valid Salesforce Partner Program Agreement and also sign to a Salesforce Partner Reimbursement Agreement, which is also known as SPMRA. This outlines partners' rights and obligations related to reimbursement for partner-led marketing activities. You must also be a valid supplier on our purchase first to receive PO from Salesforce. With this in mind, you should also be aligned to sales and marketing business priorities in place, Salesforce will then cover a maximum of 50% of the activity cost or up to the approved amount. These policies are important for us to ensure that we are compliant to all the legal process associated to receiving reimbursement from Salesforce. So, what are the types of activities that are eligible for MDF or co-marketing funding? All activities must be for demand generation and pipe generation purposes. All of these tactics are included but not limited to digital marketing, database purchases, in-person or virtual events, content syndication or telesales or multi-tactics. At the end of the campaign, all activities will require specific proof of execution documents that must follow along all the activities such as lead forms and correct Salesforce branding, which will go much more in details later. Now that you know all the high-level policies, how does this look like for our partner? We'll first call for MDF submission for our partner to submit before the deadline, which is a communication that you received today. You will then be notified on your official MDF approval result, and as soon as you receive a notification, please go ahead and execute. Post the activity, post the activity, you will also be receiving an email to receive a request to submit the POE documents, or you can simply proactively reach out to us. This usually happens 30 days post-activity. Once the POE is approved, marketing will be providing you with the guidance on reimbursement amount, which you will then need to submit your invoice to APEC Invoices to avoid any payment delays. So now that we have gone through the high level, I would like to now pass it over to Denise to talk much more in detail about MDF policy and guidelines. Over to you, Denise.
Thanks, Sun. So I'm Denise, and I'll be talking through the MDF policy and guidelines in detail and with key callouts on what's important for you. So here's a quick cheat sheet for you to get your MDF request approved. This is typically what your partner business manager considers when planning with you. They must ensure that you're ready for co-marketing activities with Salesforce. So as Sun mentioned, you have to make sure that your due diligence is done. Your SPMRA is signed and you're a valid supplier onboarded on Purchaseforce. The activities that you submit must be for the purposes of demand generation with clear call to action. You also need to have commitment to properly plan and execute the campaign within the timeline, be it in terms of allocating manpower or budget. And finally, there must be a joint value proposition and shared target accounts so that we can meet our shared goals and objectives together. So this means you need to have a close alignment between your organization and the partner business manager. You have to make sure that you have your buy-in from your partner business manager with support from the sales sponsor. We need to see that the ROI is 25-1 in terms of source leads and overall campaign goals are realistic. We've talked a lot about how to get your MDF activity approved and working towards execution, but that's just the first half of the story. What's very crucial here is that the activity must be executed in alignment with the MDF policy guidelines. Ultimately, you need to make sure you're taking the right steps in order to receive reimbursement. And as you know, post-activity, you submit your proof of execution documents for our review, but let's look into it. So first, we have all the invoices, which have to be itemized, meaning they're broken down by line item. And the total expenditure must be double of the approved MDF amount. And this is important because, as you know, each activity has funds allocated to it with a PO raised. And if the amount is not fully utilized, then the remaining that was allocated to you simply expires. And next, on the campaign marketing report. This is where we'll look at your campaign overview and results, screenshots of your landing page, your promotional material, and photos of the event. All this helps us to determine the ROI of the event and checking whether the campaign meets our brand and legal requirements. And we will reject any reimbursement claims that don't adhere to the MDF program guidelines. So once marketing has reviewed and approved all your documents, please feel free to send your official invoice to APAC Invoices. So what's the impact of all of this? If a prior MDF request is not fulfilled by you, for example, the MDF funds are only partially used and some expire, or there's a lack of compliance in terms of branding, all this affects the chances of your next MDF request to be considered for approval in the next quarter. And therefore, we do urge all of you to do right with MDF. Please take note of all the timelines and understand which activities are not eligible for MDF. All activities must be for demand generation. So for example, it cannot be used for internal staff costs or travel expenses. If you're giving out swags or festive hampers, it must be associated with an integrated campaign. So for full information, please review the guidelines that are already available to you. Whatever we've shared with you today is the same as what we've already shared in all the communications that you have received. So this is in terms of understanding program eligibility and rules, as well as campaign form guidelines for your opt-in and opt-out countries. So to help us understand what partners need to do in order to get your proof of execution approved for reimbursement, let's take a look at some best practices. So first, on itemized receipts and third-party invoices, make sure that they're dated within the MDF quarter that the activity is approved for. There must be an itemized breakdown by line item, and the language must be in English. And next, on the campaign marketing report, we want to see your results. We want to look at your registration numbers, your attendance numbers, how many leads did we actually get out of this campaign. We also want to see that the landing page contains the data privacy and marketing compliance statements, and the entire event must be Salesforce partner branded. And we also want to look at screenshots of the actual campaign work. So for example, you could share photos from the event with us. And third would be the contact list. So we already provide a template for this. So just use that and we'll be able to have a view of the participants with their contact information. And now on partner branding. So this is something that we would really like to emphasize, given that it's something we're seeing partners violate fairly frequently these days. It's crucial for partners to use the right branding from a legal and brand standpoint to maintain brand integrity and ensure clear differentiation from Salesforce. So this is what you need to illustrate in all your marketing materials. First and foremost, you must lead with your own branding. And second, use the Salesforce partner badge as the primary visual asset to communicate your relationship with Salesforce. So this means you should not be using the corporate Salesforce logos, including the characters and the product icons. So on the right, you can take a look at some examples of compliant branding. So what you'll see is that you'll have your partner's corporate logo, and then you'll have your Salesforce partner badge. So make sure that this is across all marketing assets, be it brochures or decks or booth artwork. And you can download your partner badge as well as the comprehensive branding guidelines on the partner community. You can also find the same information communicated to you in your MDF approval email, as well as at the bottom of this webpage. So please review it carefully. And finally, just to end off, know that we're always here to help and support you. Feel free to reach out to the field and partner marketing team. That will be Sun, myself, Oscar, and Johannes, as well as your partner business managers. So as you work through your Q3 and Q4 submissions, please also make sure to use the resources available to you. Please check out the MDF policy and guidelines document to view program eligibility and rules, as well as your campaign form guidelines. Please also take a look at your partner go-to-market resources app. This is available for download on the App Exchange, and this is where you'll find a free library of all your marketing and sales content. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us or fill out the form at the bottom of this page. And thank you for your time today.